Tales from Country Towns Volume 2. Now look, I love Lismore. When I first watched the Big Les show, I thought, surely this is just a documentary about Lismore. It's got this attitude where if you were smoking weed on the street and a cop stopped you, he'd ask, is that marijuana? Yeah. Can I have a puff? Fuck off. Come on, matey, I'll give you a shiggy for one. What? You mix it with spin? Where is your respect for your chakras? I'm making a citizen spiritual arrest. It's a very pretty town, but the last time I was there, I was scared out of my wits because, I don't know if you know this about Australian country towns, but some people there take ice. I was doing a show in the workies there, and it was like they expected that the population of Lismore was going to triple in size tomorrow, as they had created an exact replica of the Colosseum indoors. I could have finished every joke that bombed with, "Are you not entertained? Are you not entertained?" Nah. At which point, instead of tigers coming out from under the ground, there's a bunch of koalas running on stage. And just like how the Colosseum kept animals in a gymnasium for the gladiators underground, there was this huge gym that seemed to be relaying Kmart radio, and there was just one animal in the corner pumping iron. It was Damo, just covered in tats, really thick veins. The first thing you thought when you looked at it was, yep, that man's never done meth. Which of course was only reinforced by halfway through a rep, he looked at us and said, "What?" So Connor, the editor, and I left. Partially because we were scared, partially because we needed to do a tech run. I'm on stage, this perfect circle of a man. You know that stock Google image of a fat guy that looked like he swallowed an exercise ball? Splitting image. Only he had matted green hair and a bucket hat, which was the only item of clothing he was wearing. He was naked in a workies. We were greeted by this swaying, rotund silhouette in the corner who possessed far more authority than someone who's wearing nothing but a towel with a shirt tucked into it, dripping with water should have. And he said to us, "Can I speak to someone in the band, please?" I thought it might be the manager of the workies for a moment, because how could you be that confident? "Just this way, mate." Said like he was disappointed in us. We follow him, he leads me back to my dressing room, and I'll translate this into Lismorean because as soon as that happened, I had bad vibes. He turns around, sodden, and says, "Look, I don't want to judge people if I don't know them, but some people aren't as trustworthy as me, you know?" This is coming from a guy who took a shower in my dressing room in the split time frame that was even possible. The air was still humid. He goes on to claim, "This area is open to the public, right?" I mean, technically, it wasn't locked, but there was a huge sign on the front that said staff only, no exit. And if there's one thing in the world that I am certain of, it is that he is not staff. I'm certain he's not been the staff of anything ever. That man was unemployable. He warns. And your wallet was just lying around. And let me qualify lying around. It was underneath a pile of shirts. To find it, you would have had to have rummaged through all of my possessions, which is precisely what he did. Everything was turned upside down like FBI agents had been scouring through it, and then decided to take a victory shower. For the noble deed of breaking into my dress room, taking a shower, and messing up all the merchandise, he then goes on to claim, "It's alright. I'm just telling you for the future, okay? Not everyone's as honest as me. I took one of your shirts." Well, at least he lives by his code. But that proves that codes are extremely subjective because let's walk through this. He decided to reward himself for not stealing from me by stealing from me. Preemptively. It was his decision to take a shirt, not mine. He said he wanted the shirt because, quote, "I just want a shirt because I'm a big fan of the band, you know? Like, I'd wear that with pride." He said he'll wear it with pride like 50 times. I only needed him to say it once before I started to recognise serious holes in his stories as, I'm not part of a band. He was claiming to be a fan of music that doesn't exist. He then goes on to ask, possibly a little too late, "So what kind of music do you play?" Good question. Connor then interjects with,
"No, we're not in a band. He's a stand-up comedian."
"Oh, that's great, man. I love a bit of comedy. What time does it start?"
He starts at 7.
"Oh, okay, cool. I'll see you at 8 then."
Yeah, he starts at 7.
"Yeah, but I got an AA meeting at 7, man, so can't go."
I don't know if he was expecting us to move the show to 8 or he thought he was a time wizard, but what can you possibly say to that? Connor responds with a simple,
"Oh,
There is an excruciatingly long pause that follows. It feels like it lasted an hour, and it is broken by him saying,
Do you have any of them shirts in extra large in white?
he wanted to exchange a shirt he stole. I said,
Yeah, just take one.
at which point he gets angry, out of nowhere, just goes from 0 to 70.
Nah, I already told you I took one of your shirts, alright? I don't want a second shirt. I just want to know if I can exchange it for a white. Well, you know, you've looked through all of them.
And then instantly calms down again. He was this raging bushfire, still pond once again, as he very philosophically finishes with,
Oh yeah, fair enough. I suppose beggars can't be choosers.
it was like we were in an episode of Twin Peaks. I have so many more questions than I do have answers about that perfect circular man who then trotted out, leaving nothing but footprints of water behind him. I already loved Lismore and the Lismore workies, but after being personally met by the mayor of Lismore, who took time out of his busy schedule to take one of our shirts, I love it even more. Particularly after the fact that when 8 PM did finally roll around, he was not present. I assume because he was whisked away by more pressing matters such as pillaging a St. Vincent de Paul bin. And if you are a fan of this band, like the video, press subscribe.
Please share and comment below. Comment.